Hey guys, what's going on? Anthony here with Pistons Talk. Hope you guys are having a great weekend so far. Little PSA before we do jump into the Shake Milton contract buyout video. There will be no podcast tomorrow. I just have a lot of things going on, but next Sunday we will be back. We'll put on a really good show for you guys. So just wanted to give you guys a little update. While you're here, Shake Milton. Now, this was actually kind of funny to me. Watching Pistons Cavs, obviously the Pistons lose, right? And I get a Woj notification on my phone. Excuse me. And I see Detroit Pistons. I was like, oh, what's going on? And I'm reading this, and it says Detroit Pistons guard Shake Milton has agreed on a contract buyout, allowing him to meet the March 1st deadline for playoff eligibility. Milton landed with the Pistons from Timberwolves at the trade deadline. The reason why I'm laughing is like Shake Milton was on the bench while this tweet was going off. There was like 35 seconds left in the game, and Woj just fires it off. And I'm like, wow, that's actually kind of hilarious. But for you guys that don't know, we can kind of revisit the trade that the Pistons did make. We traded Monte Morris to the Timberwolves, obviously, and we got Shake Milton and Troy Brown Jr. Now, the Pistons are electing to grant Shake Milton a contract buyout, which if you follow the Detroit Pistons and during the whole Troy Weaver regime era, Troy has done this for a lot of players. He has given them contract buyouts so they can sign with playoff teams. He always says, do right by the player, whatever. If he thinks this is doing right by Shake Milton to offer him a contract buyout, who am I to say, right? But speaking of that contract buyout, because I know there's going to be someone saying, okay, how much money was left on Shake Milton's contract? Because he's not a UFA this year, you guys. He'll be a UFA in 2025. So go over the spot track and you look at his dead contract, because now it's a dead contract because we waived and we're going to stretch out his contract over the next couple of years. It's a $5 million cap hit, okay? So we're going to be paying Shake Milton a few $1 million until that $5 million cap hit is eventually gone. We did this with Blake Griffin. We did this with Dwayne Dedman, who Pistons traded 4 years ago. They finally are done paying him. So we're going to be paying Shake Milton for the next couple of years until his contract is fully bought out. Now, my only thing with this is if you wanted a contract buyout, usually when players get traded, and we've seen this in recent years with the Pistons, they ask for a buyout immediately, and they never even set foot in Detroit. Like one of recent memory was when the Pistons traded Sekou Doumbouya for DeAndre Jordan. DeAndre Jordan never played for the Detroit Pistons. We offered him a contract buyout, and he went to Denver. Shake Milton played 4 games with the Pistons, and I think Shake Milton was okay with playing with the Pistons because he was getting playing time. He played 4 games, right? He was in a backup role, backing up Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey at that guard position. And we started seeing these DNPs again for Malachi Flynn. I'm not throwing shade at Malachi Flynn at all, but that's what happened. Shake Milton's minutes went to Malachi Flynn, and obviously Marcus Sasser is out of the rotation as well because he's injured as of right now as we're recording this video. But again, another player that got traded here and started getting DMPs, and he's like, you know what? Like, you're not going to play me. Like, get rid of me. Give me a buyout. And I think that's what happened here. I honestly think Shake Milton was completely fine playing with the Pistons, even though they did have 9 wins. He's a 27-year-old. He's a vet at the end of the day, and he's under contract until 2025. And, Monty's rotations kind of caused another player to say, hey, get rid of me. And I think that's what happened. And I do want to put a tweet on the screen because this is from our friend over at Pistons Thoughts. So shout out to him. And I 100% agree with this tweet by him. He said, so Troy Brown Jr. is out of the rotation and Shake Milton has been bought out. Another pointless trade by Troy in the end. Could have kept a younger, stabilizing backup vet point guard Monte, but here we are. Now, there's a lot about this tweet that we can dissect. So Troy Brown Jr., I'll start out with. He's not going to be a UFA until 2025. He's under contract, and he's lost his spot in the rotation. Obviously, when you look at the forwards on this team, Simone, Fontecchio, and Asar Thompson get a bulk of the minutes, and Troy Brown Jr. is out of the rotation. Now, as Woj stated, the March 1st deadline to be bought out for playoff teams was on March 1st, so Troy Brown Jr. is here. But he's out of the rotation now, right? Which I like to see Asar get a lot of the minutes for him to develop. I think Simone Fontecchio has been amazing. But I do agree with him in a sense where, like, Monte Morris, even though he was going to be a UFA at the end of the year, he had $10 million left on his contract. He was going to be a free agent this summer. For what it's worth, at least Monte Morris was a veteran point guard that Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey could learn from. And when you look at this trade at its surface, it's like, why did we give up Monte Morris for a guy that is going to be sitting on the bench in Troy Brown Jr. now, and a guy that we bought out that would be paying around almost $1.9 million until his contract is fully bought out because it's going to be dead cap space now. Like, why did we do that? Why would we do that? And I agree with him. I think it was a pointless trade. Not to say that, like, the market for Monte Morris was going to get you a whole lot, but you were probably better off just keeping Monte Morris on this team after the deadline. Obviously, you know, some people may disagree with me on that, but it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. Like, if Monte Morris asked for a trade to go to Minnesota, then maybe I look stupid and I look like a jackass. But just from watching Pistons games this year and watching him at press conferences and doing podcasts with, you know, other people in the media, he seemed very happy to be back home in Detroit. He seemed like a guy that was a really good vet, very positive, very uplifting. Even when he wasn't playing, he was cheering for his team, and which, you know, some vets do, some don't. He just seemed genuinely happy to wear that Detroit Pistons uniform. And that's where I agree with Pistons' thoughts on that. It's like, why make that trade in the first place if you're just going to give Shake Milton the contract buyout because Monty Williams won't play him anymore because he wants to play Malachi Flynn and see what Malachi Flynn has to offer? Why trade for Troy Brown Jr. if he's just going to sit on the bench and you're not going to play him? Like, the logic with this front office doesn't make sense sometimes. And like, I went off a couple days ago with the Mike Muscala stuff because of the James Wiseman and him getting the MPs. And Mike Muscala was like a vet that provided spacing and provided veteran leadership again. And I don't know, like back-to-back trades where we look at it and we've lost a whole lot with all the trades that we didn't make. We lost vets that were contributing and could be a voice in the locker room. But let me know what you guys think of Shake Milton getting bought out, and this whole process with the trade deadline and the Pistons electing just to buy out these vets because they're getting DMPs from Monty Williams. I'll talk to you guys down below in the comment section. Like always, hope you guys are staying safe. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.